Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme, right here for each and every fearless meditation every night, straight on through the winter solstice. I'm uh, I'm in a weird place today, so I'm gonna just um, take a minute. Ooh, look at that! The camera's just totally shit. Let's do it like that. That's a lot better. All right, so what's going on, Fearless family? What's up, everyone? I'm gonna give everybody a little time to come in. I've been very tense today. I didn't sleep good last night. Anyone watching on Facebook, by the way, I can't see your name when you post. I'm just letting you know. It's allowing me once in a while to share in the Fearless group. So if I can, I just do it. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Feels good to be here with you. Kev's here, Sons of the Sun. He's always here with us. Milk in the sun, baby. Michael, I'm thankful for you too. I'm thankful for all of you. I was on fire last night, so was Paul, in a good way. And hey, Gary, how's it going? After the show, during the show, there was a lot of love. And I was showing Paula all day today, just little things, trying to cheer her up a little bit. It's hard to keep the vibration high and do anything. I couldn't sleep last night. I tossed and turned until 11 o'clock today. And I got up like twice and just stood there for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh, I'm tired now. Laid down and I don't know what was going on. I couldn't tell if it was me all amped up. Sometimes when I lay on my back when I'm sleeping in bed, it only happens there. It feels like someone, as soon as I poop, hits me in the throat, and I start choking. And I wake right up, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? It only happens when I lay in that bed right there. It's the weirdest thing. And then I annoy the hell out of everyone with tossing and turning. That gets crazy. Anyway, so today was like I'm like Kevin Space today. I was gonna say his full name, and then I realized he's a piece of shit, so I shouldn't do it. And I've been just spacey today, man. Like really, you can see it in my face. I'm like a weirdo, right? Like I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I can't kick it. But I do have the thought in my head from yesterday still and the day before. I get to run like a big boy finally, right? So I'm allowed to use the energy. So I have weird things happening. I planted 4 plants, 2 first, and then a week later, a week later, 2 others. The laws of physics, for some reason, does not work in this bedroom. The first 2 look like they're going to die, but they were doing good, and then just stopped growing. This is like the 5th batch of, they just stopped growing. And then the 2 in the smaller pots, they look great. Interesting. It's like the first little breakthrough. And I was having a fit before because I'm getting really tired of going through the same shit in the loop. And then I'm checking off the checklist, checking it twice. And I just said, you know what? The 2 little ones grow. I'm going to be like you. Through all this bullshit, I'm going to be green and I'm just going to grow. These 2 don't want to grow. I love you, but fuck off. Maybe it's the cycle. And it's funny that I'm using this as an example because now I'm actually seeing it. The pots are like a big one, and then a medium, and then a little. And these all failed. over and over and over and over and over and over and over. The ones I planted in these two just started beautiful. It looks like exactly what it should look like. And that's what the meditations are doing. It's like going back to the basics. You know, maybe all this failure is just learning how to succeed by knowing not what to do and what exactly to do. I'm at the point where I'm blaming frequency, but who knows? It is a learning experience. Everything has a learning curve these days. And I'm willing to go the distance. Yeah, I'm just willing to try. Like you hear in my voice, try. It's like cracking. We're about to go Kali style on everything. So it took me a minute, almost like I was in a. I want to call it a hole because I didn't feel like I was in anything, but I was stuck. I still am. It's not quite depressing in depression, but it's more like anxious waiting. Like, come on already, man. I'm fucking sick of this. Like, you just, and my whole mental is shifted. And it'll start with sometimes like, oh, what the, and I stop myself. Roxy has been proving a very difficult cat. She's been just taken on the floor. She's just been leaving whenever she wants. Like, I'm just going to shit over here. I'm going to go over here, just out of nowhere. And my cat Reggie won't stop with the string every 10 seconds. So in the last few days, I must have clocked in 10 hours of string time. Now, it's fun to play with your cat. However, you can't go for a run with the cat. You can't really wrestle around with the cat. You can a little bit. There's like little things you can do. But the repetitive ridiculousness, I've become Indiana Jones with this fucking string. Okay, this string right here has a little flags, a little band. I put a couple knots at the end. I really get into this because I do my meditation while doing this dance with Reggie. So I was taken to see Reggie, my cat, the great Kadu, while under mushrooms. And it was like I was a plant. But Frank was able to walk in. I walked in. And I was like, whoa. It was like a giant room with this giant plant elemental creature that looked like me, which was really weird. Giant leaves and everything. But we always say tentacles and stuff, but these were like branches. Yeah, they were like tentacles. They were like plant tentacles. No matter how I put it, it was just what it is. And they were like branched out. So they were like strings that were like thick, like tubes coming out of the main plant creature, which was me. I was definitely an elemental. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And at the end of them were like little pods, just like you would see in the Matrix, except organic and biological in nature, for sure. I was like looking for it and everything. I was like, nope. This being walked me over to the pod and opened the top, and it was like a leaf, and then another. How did it go? Yeah, because this one was last. It was like a leaf and a leaf and a leaf, and then he pulled these big leaves back, and they just slipped. It was almost like the plant elemental was allowing it. Like, go ahead, I'll just open. And then the last one came over, and then there was this like white but cleary, gooey liquid, and then there was a baby in it that looked like a little ET creature, white, fully white, black eyes like you would see on a gray, but absolutely cute. But kind of looked. It was Reggie for sure. She looked at me, and it was a she. And she went, just like Reggie does. She screams at me all day, all night. She just runs off. I'm like, yo, you gotta stop doing that. That's like, it's really cute 100 times, and then 1,000 times it's like, yo. So we have these weird conversations. I'll grab her and go, "What are you saying to me?" And she'll, I'll go, "No, I don't agree with that." So I try to have the best moments, but man, you will lose your shit sometimes. But I saw her as the baby, and I said, "Wait a second, is that? How did you have that baby in there, Reggie? How is she in there, Kadu, in the plant pod? And how are you a plant elemental? And I'm here. And who's this fucking guy? I don't need." This is how I am when I'm on mushrooms now. I'm like, "Thank you very much. I love you. I have great respect for all of you. What the fuck is this?" And they'll go, "Oh, hey, all right, he's good." It's almost like they know when I'm interacting with them on that level, that thing, like I'm getting into the mode. When I'm like, "What the fuck is this? Hey, homie, come over here. Hug me for a second. Let me look into your face." And they're like, "Oh, okay, or he's ready." So I asked, and they were like, "Oh, well, that's you creating, it's a fractal of you. So you give life to a piece of you, and it grows, and it teaches you all these crazy things. Love, how to take, Bear, you're going to have to wait a minute. So it teaches you like compassion and how to, how to interact with a little creature that loves you. Everyone's always afraid of a cat, like, "Rah, they'll scratch you." I'm pretty rough with my cats in a good way. Mama cat never let me touch her. It was like 5 years. And then I pet her one day, because she's been in the house, and she has like a neurological problem. So she goes, just giant claws. So you can't put your face near her. Will she scratch you? If you don't do that to her, no, because she probably won't let you near her. But at the same time, I'm something in my voice. It was so soft. I was like, "You're so beautiful. Yeah, I want you to stay for years and years and be with me." And she went, and I go, "Look, my arm's long enough to keep my face away from you. Now you be gentle with me and you cut that out." And she was like, making it 100% manageable. After 3 days, I'm almost holding her, like just full. And she's like, she got hit by a car outside. And there was another Frank down the block taking care of her. And it was funny. I was a Jet fan. He was a Giant fan. I was wearing Batman one day, and he was wearing Superman. Like, it was obvious that we were like reverse Franks with each other. He was a little bit older. I was a little bit younger. So we both like cats, but he preferred his little dog. But he took care of Mama. Apparently kept going to his house. There she is up there in the back. And then when she got hit by the car, you could tell she was like cut down the back, wide open. It was pretty disgusting. And she was like neurologically damaged. So she was running like weird and doing all this weird shit. And I was like, whoa, he didn't want to fucking help. I'm like, "Yo, give me her paperwork, homie. I've officially just elected myself mayor and then president. Shall we change it more? Give me the cat." And he was like, "Well," he like let her go because they weren't really taking care of her. And then she waddled to my house, which is up the block this way. It's like a full block. And she came into the yard, and then we got her into the house. We saw what was happening. We couldn't get her. She came in, she laid down. Then after time, we started to help more. We got cream on her, and we rubbed her up, and she only let Paula near her. And then she lived under there for 6 months under the bed. She would just put food by the bed, and she'd use the cat litter, which was weird. I put one right next to the bed so she couldn't step over it yet. So I built her a little staircase and did all this cool little shit. So now back to the plant being and the creature. They're like, that's what they're there to teach you. Ha! Hold on one second. I'm being overrun by cats. I have to open this window. We have 11, so it's manic. Everyone's their own personal thing. Now, we're going to go back to this. Hold on. Just this is all relevant. I'm shaking right now. I'm like, because I'm thinking of all the crazy things, but I'm not mad. There's this weird thing that's happening to me. There's this separation of my emotion and how I physically feel. So I'm mad, and it's like over here in my shoulders. I'm angry. Ooh, it's right here, but then it's I'm not there anymore. So it doesn't stay here. It kind of comes out over here, and I'm like looking at it like, really? And you could see that you would harbor and hold that if you were like frustrated. This is unreal, motherfucker. Like you just stuff it in. I can't do that anymore. It doesn't stuff in. I can't stuff it. It just jumps out. This is new. So I'm like, this is really weird. It happened a few times where I was so angry and couldn't stay angry. I tried to stay angry. It was like 10 minutes. And I must have yelled, mother. I opened the front door. And I was like, fuck the world. Like, just, I was like, I'm lost, man. But it's over here. All right. So now I'm mad at Roxy because right after the show last night, she shit in the kitchen right on the floor. So we were like, is there something wrong that she's going in different places? Maybe we got to clean up and fix. We're like, no, everything's fresh, new, everything's good. So tonight she just does it in the bathroom, right on the floor, next to the cat litter, and then we have a separate thing out in front of the bathroom just for her. No one touches it. They let her just go to the bathroom. She's the old lady. Now, I haven't been eating. I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like my body is making ultimate adjustments. So last night I had a piece of pound cake or butter loaf or some shit like that. It was like this thick, and Paul put some ice cream on it. It was really delicious. That's all I ate all day. I had coffee and water and whatever, and then it started to play out. I didn't want it. Even my lips are drying now. It's like, so I take one day off from drinking 1.5 gallons of water, and I'm fucking dried out already. Are you guys crazy? This is crazy. Never felt like this in my life. So now I'm not eating. And then I go inside the kitchen and tell me if this has happened to you, because it happened to me. I'm fucking shaking about it right now. I looked around. I saw I don't drink milk. So, but I'll use it for stuff. Like I'll put a drop in when I scramble eggs, or people like it for their coffee or their tea or some shit. I don't. So we get a small one. But there's some sitting there, and I look up. This has got to be the first time in a long time. There's fucking cereal on the top of. There's Fruity Pebbles, non-GMO. So I was like, oh, I'm fucking eating this right now. So I take the Fruity Pebbles down, I put them on the counter, and I pick up the milk. Milk's still got a week before it goes bad or anything, right? I'm not the guy that smells the milk. I've already discussed it talking about it because I know what milk is and how it works, right? So with humans, but it's fucking great cereal once in a blue moon, and I smell it, and I'm like, now that's not a smell I've ever smelled before. Have I? Have I ever smelled that? Now, I never go twice at the milk. So I'm like, I know what that smell is. I start crying, and I put it back, and I go, it's dead. I can smell it, that it's dead. But it's still got a week to go. It's dead. Put it back. I can't do it. It turned me. Then I came in here and sat down, and I took the cereal, the whole bag. I sat down, I took 2 handfuls, and I have gorilla hands, so I was like, and then I see her run through the room, and I go, half a handful. She only runs like that when she poops. She wasn't in the pail. Like you hear everything when anyone does anything. And then the whole house just reeks instantly after that. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening to my life? What the fuck? So I'm having a nervous breakdown because I know what I'm about to see, but no, you have no idea. So she just went 1 and 2 on the floor, not just 2. She just went. And I looked at her and she was like sitting up there like, and I'm like, oh, so you're doing that shit on purpose. Now I wanted to kill her. The house is only 800 square feet with a little wall and a door that she never lets me close. That's it. The whole house reeks. I had finally gotten hungry and was like, I'm going to do. So now I'm losing my shit. How am I going to claim meditation, fearless, this, that? This is what's going on in my mind. Because I'm a pretty clear-minded guy. It was beating me like you should fucking, I don't know, somehow someone should grow small and punch her in the face or something because I can't do any. Like I was yelling at her last night for like a minute. And then I'm like looking at her and she's like, fuck you. She's just looking at me like, I fucking don't care that you're mad. Right? She's a little scared. I don't like when they flinch. I don't like to make anyone flinch. So she's like, so I back up and I go, it's not like she knows what she did. Me yelling at her doesn't work. This doesn't work. I don't know it works. Give me a spray bottle. I'll squirt her with a little bit of water and that'll just make me feel better. Now, I'm doing a sacred feminine goddess Kali for the show at the end of the show last night. And then this happens right after the show. Then this happens right as I sit to eat. This was just 2 hours ago. And both times I was mentally, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to like grab her and go, ah. But I wanted to be like, you know what? Fuck you. Get me the bucket of, I'm going to do Ozzy Osbourne to this little thing. And I'm going to be like, fucking disrespectful. You bit her the other day. You scratched her really bad. All she does is take care of you. And these thoughts. And I'm like as if she was a person. And then she was going to understand my full disappointment. And I was going to let her know because I had to stand there and go with a finger, like a fucking old man. And I really thought to myself, dude, shut up. This isn't working. But I was inside. So when I checked on the anger, it's here at me. Now it jumped out at me. And I'm like, that was fast. I want to still just run, motherfucker. And they were like, yeah, well, how do you feel? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just mad. But I'm not mad. It's not mad. Angry is in you. Hate is like in you. I hope this fucking makes sense. It was like I couldn't breathe to pull anger in. Like, fuck these motherfuckers. Like I couldn't do anything like that. These disrespectful cats. I couldn't get the air in me to do that. Almost like my body was going, nope, reject. Nope, reject. And that was driving me up a wall like a crazy man because now I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know how to feel. I don't know. I'm listen to me. I'm judging myself and I'm looking at her and I'm like, I fucking love this cat. And she's the best smelling one in the whole house, even though she drops the worst deuce you'll ever imagine. All right. So I go in the bathroom. I just think so I'm like, oh my God, this is fucked up. And I clean it up. And I'm like, oh, that was pretty quick. Open up a window. Oh, and I had put the heat on, so the heat was hissing. And then I'm like, I can't fucking eat now. Oh my gosh, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, I can't do music because it can't be loud. But it's early, but now it's late. But I don't want to wake anyone. Like, I don't want to do anything and shake the place and make it. My energy is just all over the place. And I thought about Kali again, and I was like, yo, how am I supposed to be you and do all this? And then she's like, just one thing at a time. Just one thing at a time. Hold on there. Hold on. You have to clean your space, just like I have to come through and clean the negativity and I have to destroy evil. Right? She's like, you smell that? I go, yeah, it's the worst thing I've ever smelled, ever. And I smell dead bodies. This is like destruction to my nostrils. And she's like, right. So the only way to get anywhere with it is to clean it. So I was like, all right. I get this little rhythm going, and I'm like, oh, all right, okay. Now Reggie's screaming at me. She keeps running up to me, going, and then jumping on the string, and then now she's biting everything that looks like a string, thinking she could pull it away. So there's microphone cords, and oh my God, I don't know what the hell's been happening. And I'm like, okay, full moon. So this is all happening now. The heat, we have the old house, so it's hissing. I'm giving you guys a play-by-play, and then we're gonna do a meditation to take the shit all away. And the heat hisses out of that thing like, so you can't do shit. You have to turn the volume up on the TV loud. Thank God we got a sound bar. We're in a small room. I had to get a sound bar because we couldn't hear the TV with the fan in the window and the heat just blowing out of the fucking wall. So all this is happening at once, and I'm like, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. We almost got it. So I go, I get sage, and I come into the bathroom, and I light the whole house up with sage. I'm like, this will work. And then I look down, and I noticed that she number one'd, and it went under everything. It's soaked under the basket. And I fucking completely lose my shit for a second. I have to take plants off the thing the cats go to use for the bathroom because there's plants on top of it. It looks really pretty, by the way. And then I take the top off, and I'm like, you motherfucker. Well, this is pretty clean. I cleaned this before. And I wanted to smash it. Instead, I went, yeah, it's pretty clean. I put it into the tub. I was shocking myself. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was hoping that some character would come out and confront me and go, tonight's the night I found Frank, and I'm going to fuck him up. And I turn around, and I just crack him, suck a punch him right in his face. Bang! And I turn the camera on, and I drag him out, and I go, look what the fuck, I found everyone. But no, nothing like that. I pick it up, soaked with fucking number one. I put it in the tub. I walk out of the room. I start crying. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? She's like, clean one thing at a time. You're purging, relax. I go, why am I feeling like this? And why am I vibrating? And why am I like, it feels weird? It doesn't feel like my injury. My injury it causes me. It used to more, but now way less. Like a shaking. This is different. This is like body. My knees are doing it. They're going like, but my legs, my tendons, my chubby, whatever the fuck that is, my feet, my little fat nugget toes, my teeth. My fucking teeth are fake. These are all fake. They're dead. I feel them. I feel them vibrating in my face. All right. It's okay. Okay, Gary. So I check this shit out. So I clean everything. I get everything mad clean. And I'm like happy now. I danced. I squirt Clorox on the floor. And then I put rolls of paper towels down, and I put them on my feet, and I danced around. I cleaned everything. Everything. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to clean everything while I'm at it, which I just did the other day. So I feel really good, and I come out. And I start to realize we're literally transforming. I'm shaking the way a spider would shake off. I think they call it molting. Is that the word I'm looking for? Shakes its skin off, or its old shell. And it's just this little pink fucker, but it's bigger. And then he grows another one. I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like the energy naturally does it, but what we're doing is causing it to go to the extreme. I was telling you guys yesterday, I didn't know how to connect to the guy I was with because I like him and I haven't seen him, and I saw what he was watching. And I said, do you watch Fast and Furious? Because we were about to do DMT. And he's like, oh, fuck yeah. And I'm like, yeah, family. And then I gave him the little story about how they look at each other when they pull up at the light and they're waiting, right? Yeah, they all, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, they're boys, but they race nonstop. I'm going to beat you today, and today I got you, whatever. So they have that look on their face like, I love you, but I got you. Or you're just a punk and I got you, whichever one. And then they wait, they take off. These are all moments we're logging in life. I'm like you were at work today. Obviously, you're wearing your work clothes. You're just getting comfortable, whatever. So you went through you're looking over at people. You're like, bro, I'm about to get out of traffic. I just, boom, you take off. And your day starts. You're going in and out. You're racing down. You're looking over at the other guy, the competition, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I said, and both of you start going, with your finger because you know the nitrous has to be clicked. You have to do it. You can't be here and in the Fast and Furious saga and not have like dual nitrous shit that'll get you into space, but in the car, ready to rock. And then you know that he don't know what you got and you don't know what he got, but this is gonna go down. And this is nothing. This is just the day going, man. And then it hits. Boom, nitrous. We hit the DMT. He flies back. I go, it's just like hitting the ramp, kid. Right? Yo, son, we hit that fucking ramp. And weird thing in the Fast and Furious movies, they have like rockets on the cars sometimes. So when they're like, yeah, then they hit the rocket, and then it's like, yeah, right? It's just crazy shit. So this is what you're doing right now. So now we're doing the meditations, and the energy's coming in. It's like a giant wave, and we're on surfboards, or we're in cars. It's an energy wave, and we're kind of riding it. And you can obviously see some people are unaware of this giant monstrosity coming in. And here we are up on it, like trying to hold on. And then the nitrous blast is the portal activations, the 12-12 activations, that this activate. Source just goes, and more nitrous. And you're like, fuck. Whoa, right? You got to still stick a landing somewhere. And you remember how they land. Sometimes they just crumple the fucking car around them, and they're just rolling around like dummies, and then they get out and they're like, bro, that was crazy, which would never obviously happen. Sometimes they have to eject from the vehicle and just let shit go down, and then kind of come back and be like, is everybody okay? So these are all metaphors for what we're doing right now. So we're in the full moon activation after doing the meditations with Kali. Like, I'm literally going back to basics. Back to basics would be, yo, man, let's show people again the avatars running the energy during the actual cycle where it's actually fucking relevant, during a time where it's necessary. And if you can get with it, you won't get crushed by it. Ha! Right? Here's a good thing. We won't charge anyone, and we'll just tell them the truth. There you go. We'll just come out fucking swinging and show them how it's done. Ha! Okay. And then you walk around 5 minutes ungrounded with that energy, and the cat takes a shit on the floor, and you smell the milk, and this occurs, and then that, and it just. Now, this happens every day to everyone. How do you handle it? Do you lose it? Do you lose it? Do you kick the cat? Do you throw the cat out of the house? Do you make your wife clean it up? Or do I make Paula clean it up? Or do I walk around the house bitching and moaning and like continuously berating the cat? Do I throw shit at her? Do I yell at Reggie, get the fuck out of here? Because I sound great when I curse. So I should be in movies when I'm like, you motherfucker, you guys got to hear me. I know the neighbor is like, are you okay? I heard a noise. No, I'm fine. He's like, okay, thanks. If you need anything, let me know. Oh, okay. Do I throw the string at her? You fucking, or do I do this and whip it? I don't ever do that to them, by the way. I never do any of the stuff I'm saying right now. I'm just asking you what you do, because I've had some bad habits in the past with life. I had a dog. I never want to talk about this, but I'm just going to let you know. This was like 25 years ago. I was in Florida, and I had a dog, and the dog, it was a little dog. It was a Chihuahua. It bit the girl I was dating and living with. She had a little daughter. She was like 6 years old, and it bit her face and pulled her fucking lip. And I punted that dog across the room to get her off her. I just walked over and went boof, and the dog let go immediately and was like over there. I never touched anyone ever again. But then that poor girl had to get fucking stitches all up in her face, had to have a lip reattached and stuff. So I was like, there's kind of that healthy balance with that kind of stuff. But I never wanted to ever be part of something like that again. So that's like a bad thing that happened to me that I can relate to. Like, so now Roxy is shitting and pissing. Rah, rah, rah. I mean, it's not biting the girl, obviously, but some people take it that next step. I don't take it that next step. You know, I'm from the street originally, but I'm not dealing with that shit no more. However you throw it in my face, I will punch you in the face. I don't want to. Believe me, I don't want to. I mean, that's why I don't get involved with nothing. I just do me, right? And then I'll say things like, "Oh, you didn't notice that? Or you didn't see that right there? What does that say right there? Did you notice that? Oh, you didn't? It literally tells you what poison they're putting in you. All right, bye." I turned into that instead. I've just dealt with too much stuff. So anger is no longer, gosh, it's happening to me while I'm talking to you guys. It's like no longer my friend. And I'm not sad to see you leave either. That's the crazy thing. I used to like live on that fucking adrenaline of that. Where who knows, man? I could have been, because of COVID lockdowns and all kinds of bullshit, the crazy guy that you lock in here, and then I fucking, I'm wearing a cat on my head when you find me. And you're like, what happened? It's like, well, the cat shit on the floor and he decided to make a hat. Like, I didn't want to ever be that guy. That's not even funny, but it's funny. So none of that happened. I was asking Kali, how do you do it? And she's like, you're transforming. Just let it change. Just let it go again. Let the energy fill you. Realize what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're saying it. Because you can like be like, oh, fuck everything. And then it doesn't travel. Or you could be like, ah, and it goes. So it's your choice. Sometimes you got to let it out. It's okay. It's okay. You're human. It's what we do with it now while we're in it. So I'm like, oh, so we're learning how to play when the kid just takes the deck of cards and just kind of flicks them and right in your face. He goes, go pick them up, or whatever that stupid game is called. And then we have to stay neutral in that situation and do our job, because that always goes on. So how would you have acted, I don't know, a year ago? I've been like, oh, she shit on the floor. Oh my God, woke everyone up. Why? I don't know. I'm just an animated fool, maybe. I don't know. I used to get whacked out and weirded out over crazy things. But then again, I also do what I do. So I've never had a psychotic break that I know of. I see where, like we were talking about it last night, where the psychotic break can go. And I go to it and I don't break. But I go there and I go, oh, I get this shit. My lever's up here. So it's like really difficult to reach that. I've been torn apart. I've had things do things to me that are just so crazy. So it's how do you act now? How are you going to have a heart attack if an ET walks in the room? Okay, so if the teapot goes off and you're on the phone and the cat takes a shit and misses everything, and you're like, oh, but you're on the phone with mom. Do you fuck off, mom? I'll call you later. Hang up, turn off the thing, or you just go, turn it off. Let me call you right back. Blip, 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 blip. Make the call back. Tell the funny story. What character are you in there? Because if it's still happening, you're being tested on that level. I'm like, but this is fucking crazy. You realize we're live, right? This isn't a test. And they're like, well, why do you think Kali gave you the energy? And said, be me. Go forth and be me. And I was like, ooh, that's like Santa Claus saying, okay, it's your turn. And, I mean, it's amazing powers. If you think about it, he's technically a mutant from Marvel Comics. If you think about it, he reaches in the bag, he pulls shit out from the other dimension. He can do all kind of magic shit, He could probably take it up with Doctor Strange, for sure. He'd probably throw down and beat his ass. He'd be like, and then put you on the naughty list and throw coal in your diaper. And be like, get out of here. And take that mask off your face. You look stupid. So Kali doing that to me, it was great. And then I was like, okay, now what? And then we talked last night about what we did. Now, today, did you think you were going to get through a day without being tested on the highest level during the full moon while everything's erupting and going? Or did you think your meditation last night was enough? You know you. So you tell me. I was like, no, definitely not enough. And it's like, well, you don't have to spend your time in meditation, but obviously you're shaking and freaking out. And you can't get it together. So what do we usually do during these times? Are we going to freak out and go nuts? Or are we going to take a minute, clean everything, do everything you got to do, play some string? We gave everybody some time. Fed Schwaby, got to give her some pets, woke mama up. I could give her kisses on her head, but you got to be careful because she but I could do it. I got her. I go, everything goes better with a kiss. Isn't that right? And I go, what the fuck is this? Who says this? And I was like, apparently I do. Oh, I'm turning into that guy, huh? And it's like, well, these are all technically your children. She's a grandmama. Roxy's technically the way older than everyone here. She's 12 years old. Mom is like 5 years old, but she's been through the craziest, and all the litters come from her. Except for the rescue. Little Bear was rescued, and then we had Oscar. Everyone else is a genetic trait directly from that lady right there, the whole area, all the backyards and everything. No, I wasn't calling you for string. Here it goes again. And I love their faces. I just, but how do you act? So this could be like anything. It could be like you and your spouse, you and your child. Your kid comes to you and goes, Dad, why is trees leaves green? And you're like, bro, we talked about this before. He's like, yeah, but I like when you tell it to me. And you go, all right, fuck out of here, kid. Do you do that? That's a no bueno, but I shouldn't have to tell you that. But we get frustrated in life, right? Like dad's been working all day. Maybe mom's been working all day. Fuck, everyone's working all the time doing something. And you get 1 second to yourself, and then what is it? Okay, we have to stop with the that part. But where does that come from? I noticed mine moved over here. It like moved out. Do you want to sit with me up here? I'm talking to everyone. Do you want us to come sit? Tell them. Why? Why? Aren't you MC Reggie on the mic? No? I love you, though. Okay, get out of here. No strain. Go home. This goes on nonstop. She'll run away and then come back and then come sit right next to me and then just turn her back and look back at me like Barbara Streisand in some crazy movie because she has the Barbara Streisand eyes. That and mixed it. If you drew her like Stuart Little, then you get Reggie's face. See, so how do you act? I'm already starting to feel better, which was amazing because I almost couldn't get the will to do it, but I had it. It was inside, but I was too busy with looking at shit over that's not contained in me. It's like over here. I'm like, I can't be angry. I can't be frustrated. I said to Paula the other day, oh, I'm so mad. And she was like, yeah, me too. And I go, that was weak. That was internally weak. Like I sounded like I didn't mean it. And I thought I was pretty pissed at something, And now I'm like, what was I even mad at? It's being held over here. All the karma is resolved, man. If you're doing your work, honestly, look, coming from the guy who stabbed Space Jesus, if you don't know the story and you don't know me, when I met him the second time, we did this thing like, I can't. Can you do it on camera? Like I shake his hand like that, right? So that was the first time I was going to do it with him. Because the first time I shook his hand, like I touched him and I grabbed his robe and I started talking about his robe and just this stain and whatever. And the second time, he was just right there, and I go, "Hey, man, you're back!" And I reached out and I grabbed him. And I said, it'd be so funny, man, with all the crazy Space Jesus talk and all the stupid shit I do. It wouldn't be funny if I was one of your apostles. And he looked at me and he wouldn't let go. And I talked about this on the show. I'm like, yo, man, let me go. Like I literally, it was more than a grip. It was like I was being held by a force. And he pulls me into him and he goes, that would be interesting, right? All right. But you're the guy that stabbed me. And I was like, what? I would never stab you. And he was like, but you did. Check it out. Right? And I'm like, I saw me in a crowd of people. I saw him carrying, and this is like, he had told me, I don't want you to believe any stories about me. I was alive. All this crazy shit happened, but they're not telling you the right way. Right? So I was like, okay. He goes, just believe in you can do what I can do and more. But then I see him and he's all skinny and shit. And he's like walking and he's a lot darker than people think he is. Like, he's like not dark, but not white. He's like shaded, beautiful, I don't know, whatever, call it what it is. He was walking by me, and I realized, because he looked super tan, this little goblin looking motherfucker jumps out, and he has this little helmet on with the little flaps on the side. He's not wearing a shirt. He's got like the little underpant thing on going, and like a leather thing. And he was just, if I saw this guy, I would just kick him just because I saw him. He'd come out, and he had a fucking knife in his hand. And it was like a little shiv, but he was a little guy. He jumps out and just fucking stabs him. And walks away right back into the crowd. He's like, ah! And I go, oh, he looks just like me. I saw his face when he started screaming and chanting, ah, and they were like, that's you right there. And I started crying and being apologetic. He's like, man, don't worry about it. We kill each other. Things happen. We relive. You learn lessons. And I'm like, you gotta let go of my arm, bro. I'm not having it no more. He fucking let me go. And I was like, I can't believe I was this guy. I walked away from him like, all right, thanks, man. I didn't need that. And he was like, well, didn't need to be stabbed as well, but we forgive him. We forget. Right? I'm like, oh, man. Well, we all have the things that we've done, or the beings that we are. You think I want to talk about that shit and be like, oh, yeah, I'm the guy that did that? That would get me fucking jumped in a Joel Osteen fucking party. They'd be like, that man is Satan. He stabbed Jesus. I'd be like, no, you guys don't realize how reincarnation works and shit. You guys are still stumped with that one. Anyway, so how do you handle these situations now? How do you handle you? What's important for you? And how are you going to act when the whole thing's crashing down and you got some shit to do? Are you like the last time the power went out here and there was like this crazy shit going on? The first time it was great. We had everything ready to go, whatever. Second time things weren't charged and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find the candles. I couldn't get to things. There was water squirting out of the fucking wall at one point and it was ice cold. Oh man, it was terrible. And all the electronics were right there. So I didn't want to just rip them off the wall. That's just like crazy guerrilla style. So I'm like, I have to like touch stuff and then the power goes out and I'm like, okay, I guess now I could do it. It was, how are you handling it? And then the next day, Paul and I were like mad at each other. We were like, you fucked that up, Frank. I'm like, I feel like I did fuck it up. I feel like my nerves. And it's like, all right, now let's expand out a little bit on this and not make it about me, right? Now just think about you and how you act with your own shit. Because I seen a friend recently do some, she talked to me in a way no one ever talked to me. If she was a dude, I would have definitely thrown down with her. And that's it. It's a wrap. I've never heard that shit before. How would you act though with that happening? I was just like, don't say anything you can't come back from. And actually she took it 10 steps further. For what happens if we land a UFO and you got the guy next door that's not good with himself? Well, not even land, it's just floating around, right? People going to throw rocks at it, scream at it, faint, throw themselves out of windows, do all kinds of shit. So the mess and the frequency and the shaking and the situation just continuously grows. When we had the riots, right? I was like, ain't nobody gonna fucking riot over here. They'll kill them. And they came at like 2 a.m. and rioted up Morris Park and destroyed everything from 180th. So you're looking at like a 1.5 miles of stores on either side of the road being damaged at 2 a.m. I stayed at my grandmother's with my mother. I was with my mother, and then I'm in the house. It's like there's nothing to do. I had nothing to do, so I ate a handful of mushrooms, and I went out in the backyard and I'm smoking a blunt, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm glad the riots didn't come here and whatever. And then boom, 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 gunshots start going off. I'm like, what's that? I start hearing. It just starts getting louder and louder, and right over the roof is Morris Park, so I can look right over on the angle, and it's like 3 houses away from like an Albanian cafe, which is huge. You totally don't want to go there and fuck around. But at 2 a.m, who the fuck is over there, right? If you're in a mob, you don't give a shit. So they came up Morris Park and they were breaking windows and setting shit on fire. People were shooting, and I saw fire things at one point, helicopters, and I'm like, I'm going inside. When I saw the helicopter, it came right down. It went boop, 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 boop. And I was like, okay, I'm out. Because I was tripping so hard. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Go inside, we got to be part of this. So I'm 18 houses from the corner, and I'm like, oh, they're here. They're right there. How much closer are you going to get? How are you going to act? We all know what everybody would do. Oh, you grab the gun and you stand outside. Well, my neighbors weren't doing that shit that night. It was 2 a.m. I was tripping. All this was happening, and there were hundreds of people just fucking running through the streets. All right? I was wearing a fucking onesie with a fucking cape. Okay? Tripping. I was like, I'm just hope my mother makes it through the night with me and nobody gets in the fucking house, breaks any windows or nothing. I can't tell you any more than that because it would be incriminating. Any further I go with details of what I would be able to do to protect myself. However, the next night, because people came out, they were like, oh, what the fuck is going on? But it was already over. Everything was destroyed. They came out, and it was on the news. They're like, yo, you should go down to Morris Park. Check it out. Everyone's out. I walked to the corner and everyone was out, and it was full destruction. And they were patching things up already. They were putting up boards. This was the next, it was maybe 10, 11 in the morning. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. But everyone was out with baseball bats and stuff. So they're like, yeah, we're meeting tonight. This was the news through the grapevine. Tonight we'll be on the streets all night. So we're just going to stay out. And then there's not enough cops, so we're going to handle it. And I'm like, I haven't heard people talk like this since I'm a kid. I'm like, I have to come back later. I'm coming back. I didn't bring anything. I just walked down there. There were dudes everywhere. You couldn't drive a car in the street. It's a double. So there's 4 lanes. You couldn't cross the street. Like, you couldn't drive through. There's just people everywhere. Everyone had fucking weapons, and everyone was so nice. There was hockey sticks. Kids were in full. That was my favorite. The full hockey gear. Just like, yeah, what's up? What's up? And cops. And I said to the cop, they had cop cars lined up, like one here and then like staggered back in the road, like you see in a zombie movie where they're just staggering the car. So I go, where the fuck are the other cops? And I was standing at Dunkin' Donuts, and the cop goes, there's 7 of us. And I look up, and there's a fucking sharpshooter right on the roof of the building that's on my corner. And I was like, I never thought I'd see this shit. And he was like, yo, thank you guys so much for coming out. He was thanking everyone, and they all had, craziness. But for supporting the community, supporting them, there was construction going on in the main park, and they just shut it down and took away their funding because Morris Park funded or took the side of the police station. Okay, so if you follow Twitter from that night, they were like, do not go up there. Now, we're in a main section, so if you choose to come up here, you're up here with us. There's no going back. It's just like that one lane. And you could scatter into different, but you're only going into like people's at home areas, and we know the area too well. So they made an attempt at giant riots, and they made the turn right down on Morris Park and like 180th Street, and were met by everyone from down that part of Morris Park. Up by me, they never got up there. They never came back. They would, if they would have gotten up by us, there was the hospitals and the schools. Like, they're staggered, the schools and the hospitals in my neighborhood, like right with us. So they just ran through like they did the night before, which they were looking to do again, and it just didn't happen. So how much are you going to take? What's going on? Internal, external. How are you going to hold up? Now, there was not one fight outside of that incident that happened all the way at the bottom of Morris Park. So you're telling me all the people from Morris Park that were capable of just being part of that came out and didn't hurt anyone else, including themselves, and completely stopped riots. How do you act in those situations? back in the day, we would have just chased the rioters down. We wouldn't have did it that way. We would have all just said, come on, we're going to get them, and walked with a crew and just met them head on. Yeah, crazy shit, right? That's how it used to be in like the fucking 80s. I was still too young to beef in the 70s. I got beat up a few times, but I was a little too young for that. Early 80s, though. The bullying. Anyway, so how do you handle it now? How do you handle yourself? So Kali was explaining, with the energy and all the intensity, it's going to fucking lift you in the same exact situation you were just in. Okay, go. And they're all watching. And I remember last night I said, I closed my eyes during the meditation. I went in the other room. I had to go to the bathroom. I went in there and I closed my eyes and I saw this blue lady. She was like a young girl, not a little girl, but a young girl, like a teen girl, blue, with a red thing on her head, and she had blue hair, short. And then she went like that and looked that way. So I just followed her with my eyes closed, and it was all of these beings were looking at us, and everyone meditating, because I made like a full rotation. It was like everyone was with us. It was like one of those Avengers Assemble moments but you didn't realize that was happening. And everyone was there, and then they were looking, and it was like, did we do it? Because I shouldn't be able to stand eye to eye with you. It was almost like they were behind a transparent glass window, like little different guys were looking, different women, different beings, they're all different stuff. They were staring at us. And they were like, and I'm like, holy shit, I think we're doing it. I think we're doing it. This is what it's all about. So naturally you do that. And you're like, yo, I'm doing it. What's this all about? Okay, give it to him in action. Go. And you're like, fuck, my world's falling apart. I'm going to fucking stomp on the cat, kick the shit, throw someone out the window. I'm not playing with the fucking string. God damn it, I fucked the blunt up. Like, you just go into that mode. Or you're going to recognize what's going on. I completely was able to pull myself out of each individual modes tonight, recognize it, have this conversation with you, which I couldn't even talk before I started this. And then that camera shit started again. As soon as I came on and I started typing meditation, boop. I was like, man, I didn't even get in there yet. You're not even playing fair. Like, I didn't click into the camera yet. You'd be shutting everything down. And then I just pushed through. I said, fuck it. And I felt it. I started feeling it. That you can. I've been depressed before. I understand that I just can't get up and take the shower. You got to get up and do it, though. No one else can do it for you. And you have to eventually do it. And you're in a living organism, so it has to move, or you get things like bed sores and all kinds of smells and weird shit growing and going on. You got to get up and you got to get moving. That's what it's built for. I understand there's depression. I understand. I've been there, but we all have to start moving in this direction now. You have to. I mean, you relied on the medical system for so many things that were outside of the realm of like broken bones and shit. And then we realized that they were just pumping us full of Oxycontins and just like throwing people's lives away, keeping them contained with cancerous materials. They're still doing it. It's in everything. Everything. They don't give a shit. This is how I bring it back to base. So I'm here, but I'm with my family and I'm ready to snap, but they don't give a shit about me. They never did. They pretend all the time. And the TV talks a good game and everybody live, and the politics talks a good shit. And lawyers talk good shit. None ever really gets done, does it? How much more of this are we going to take? Well, what do I got to do? It's like, well, you got to remove yourself. How the fuck am I going to remove myself? Well, it's like removing toxic chemicals from your system. You can't bargain with them. You can't, they'll just lie to your face. Oh, no, we're good. We'll leave us here. We're just cancer. It's like, no, man, there's a tumor right there. You gotta get rid of that. You gotta purge out your system, or do it, whatever it is you got to do. The jab shots have been fucking one of the things these shots do is take any pre-existing conditions that you have. Sorry, I'm still a little slow on the draw. Preconditions that you have, and then amplify it, and they attack that. So people are having all kinds of problems and everything. And I know people that have taken the shots, and every one of them has had some kind of medical condition where they have to go to the hospital. And I'm like, well, how do you tell someone it's the shot that amplified it? Now, on top of this, well, that doesn't really make it a bad thing, because now they know there's a problem where they didn't know before. So how are you going to have a true purge without knowledge that you have a sickness to begin with? Oh, so this thing could be, I see where this is going. So I have to back out of the argument. If then it's not an argument, I have to just back out of the conversation and say, okay, you know what you guys can do if you're interested in heavy metal purging, detoxifications and all kinds of stuff for whatever reason, for anything, and just leave it up there and then slowly go, whatever makes you feel better, baby. You got to roll in this life. So it's your choice. But see, then that choice leads to that, and then they find out there's a problem. So we can't hang them and be like, oh, vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers. No, no more. No more separation, no more junk. No more fighting. Either it's black or white, or, you know, well, what sex are you, and what do you have there, and then what's this, and I don't like that, and you shouldn't say that, and my God this, and your God that. You got to let that, all of it go. Get filled with that energy, and still maintain through the household crazy, because that's not going to change. Even if you talk to your cats with telepathy, they're still going to shit on the floor if they want to. Okay, so how are you going to handle it? ETs show up. Are you going to just die of a heart attack? I'm trying to show you the connections that I'm making to how ramped up the emotional output's going to be. And then when you do the work, I guess emotions, even though generated from you, jump out to here. And it allows you to do the same situation. God, I could have just made this a 2-minute conversation. It's like I'm just waking up to it. And now how do you handle the exact same thing? Go. And it's like, well, I'm going to do. Well, it's not really like I'm going to. It's like, okay, now you're doing that. Okay, now we're going to amplify it. The banks are crashing, because this is what's going to happen. You want the system to crash, right? Okay. So people lose their jobs. People start going fucking crazy. They freeze bank accounts. People can't pull money out because the bank don't have it. And then this happens and that happens. And then this person and then that crew and then BLM shows up, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, how you doing? Oh, by the way, there's a UFO. Here it comes. It looks like it's going to park itself right on your lawn. You got a 30 by 30 right there. How you holding up? And you're like, I can't take it no more. And it's like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? You wanted the system to collapse. You wanted the whole thing to change. You wanted the Bitcoin to go up. So if I go up, you got to go down. And then, like, come on. Is this what you want? And then there's your star family. Okay, go. How you doing? And I'm like, I get it. They're masters of the energy. We got to master this shit, or we're going to. These are just teachers. Kali, Shiva. They're great teachers. The energy teachers. And then you master them and move into the next thing. But you'll always have that now in your regiment. It's like when you earn a belt in karate, right? You keep that forever, and you know that stuff. It's the same thing working with the energies. And then you just continuously grow inside of that. So you can reach a certain point. And then I guess this was weird to me. There's no feeling in here. This is why I'm kind of rambling about it. I'm not even really that high or anything. Like, it's discharging from me, but landing over here. So there's a little anger. It really goes away. Get out of here. Here's a thought I have. Yeah, I like that one. And then here's the action figure I was thinking of. Oh, look, there it is. That makes me feel groovy. All right, there's Paul. Oh, that makes me feel like, oh, there's that emotion. It's over here. And then it's just accessible, but I can't keep in any of this stuff, anger, rage, frustration. But it also turns me into a droning zombie now, because what the fuck am I doing? And they're like, so that's the next part. And now you're down and you're like, well, I got all this stuff happening all around me. I'm able to access and pull it in. I feel empty inside. I feel empty. I'm like, are you really depressed? No. Are you unhappy? Well, the world's kind of sucky, but am I unhappy personally? No, not really. No, I'm fine. You know what's wrong with you? Look at your face. I'm all right. Just kind of doing my thing. So now, what is that? Frank just went emo on you. You're like, now you have to learn how to fill yourself with the energy and now conduct what you're going to conduct. Do what it is you're going to do. Because the energies are all frequencies, like book pages just stacked on top of each other, and you're just accessing them and moving and doing stuff throughout your day. And then this stuff happens. It's almost like there's an alchemical thing happening at every point of every moment of every day with everything inside the entire everything. And then we come in and we're the masters of alchemy. Bang! You like that, right, Kev? I snuck that one in there. All right. I'm tired of sneaking looks at my cats. It's time to do this. So we talked enough. I've been talking for an hour. Holy shit. We're supposed to be meditating. I do this every time. Okay, so I want to kind of talk about something real quick. So tonight's mantra, it's a Kali mantra. We're going to do it 108 times. The music's set to 12 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's going to, it's going to do it. And what they're saying, we were talking about this last night. There's words like Omm, right? Kreem, Kring, Aim. Those are seed. They're called seed mantras. They're like a single word that you turn into a tone, repeated a certain amount of times, 108 times. You start to develop something more of an ability. So tonight I'm going to explain the ability part. Hold on. So get your sages and get your waters and your candles lit now while I go through the explanations. So it's Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah, right? And you're like, well, what is that? I'm from the Bronx. I heard that the first time. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Shaman Jimmy said it. He used to teach me this stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't even fucking know what you're saying. Then he played this for me, and I sang along with it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty simple. This one's pretty simple, because some of them are really difficult, and I don't get into all that. I could still pull to that energy, calling it Phil, if I'm that hard up, having a very difficult mantra. Like, I don't need the Ganesha mantras that are like 8 pages long. I just got to be like, hey, happy Ganesha. I love you. I love me. I want to do, so you can make it easier for yourself. But I need to learn. This was my point. I was a Bronx kid. I was a meathead. So Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Okay, so the meaning, hail to the goddess Kali, bless us with who has consciousness, insightful mind, make us intelligent and wise. The benefits of chanting this mantra blesses one with immense wisdom and knowledge. Right, so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, actually, man. You're telling me, like, if, say I can't think, and I'm not wise to something, and I don't have the power to make it through it. I'm just, it's just fucking hard, man. And I don't understand. I can do this and kind of enjoy it while I do. I use ones that are kind of enjoyable. They're on the ears and to say along with them. Man, when you start chanting this stuff and you get into a rhythm with it, because you're not chanting some old stuff. This is played on music that's kind of like bumpy and good. It's got a good vibe to it. So you could kind of like move your butt kind of and sing along. You don't have to sit in your chair and breathe. Oh, meditate, ground, must be complete. Oh, no, you could start cleaning your house to this. Because Kali likes movement. Energy likes movement. So this is an excellent time to do that. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy. But if you do sit there and concentrate and just say along or do it yourself, what happens? Well, it's almost trance-like. And then you trance out to the energy. And then you start to feel the change within you and around you. You begin to feel the wisdom growing in you, the connection to what in you would make you, because it's really working with you, wise. You're not collecting really with an outside source. You're all. It's coming here to you. The energy of this is coming, and I must understand it too. Oh, that's what it does. Now let me use it. Ta-da! And it works with other thoughts that you're having. So like with me, I have trouble with carpentry. I have troubles with angles and the opposite side. I'll do one side real good. The other side, I'm like so confused. And I have to call for Paula, and she's a lefty, and she comes out and she goes, oh, it's like this, this, and this. And I go, you just see it, but I see it on the other side. But I'm stuck. She'll go, yeah, I can't look at you looking at this for another hour. You have to just do it. Right? So you can come back to yourself. You take that breath. You can light your sage, and that's what we're doing right now, right? And you can ground yourself, grow those roots deep into the earth. You tell me we can grow roots deep into the earth? Yes, energetically, you grow your roots deep into the earth, sir. Yes, ma'am, you do that. And then what's going to happen? I don't know. You down far enough? Well, how do I know if I'm far enough? You feel nice and warm and connected to the great all of the planet? Why, yes, I do. Well, then I guess we're in. Oh, this is good. Now what? Well, now you can take any energy that comes at you and you can control it because you're a creator, energy master. Really? Yeah, well, if you weren't grounded, you'd explode like a lightning rod, not stuck in the ground. And that's what makes you shake and freak out. And I don't know. And I'm so afraid. And what do I do? And what's going on? Well, one thing at a time. Let's work back. There's that deep breath. And let it out. Oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit better, everyone. That second breath. I'm really starting to enjoy this feeling. It's so much better than that shaky stuff was going on before. Man, that sage smells delicious. And I'm already feeling clean and clear. Well, that's how this works. Excellent. Now, we are ready. So if you choose to do along, say along. You'll notice the trance-like state that your mind and body will get into. And then these energies that promote wisdom and knowledge and I don't like to call them blessings, but like uber good energy from the beyond. It's all there for you to take into you. And the energy, because it's Kali, is feminine. Right? And this is the rising of the sacred feminine. And here we are. Okay. So this is 12 minutes and 9 seconds. We're going to just rock out on this, come back for a few minutes, see how you feel. And then we'll call it a night. But try to get into it. It's not always about sitting around. I'm really shaking it up a little bit with the new mantras. So you're not just sitting there kind of hoping and praying away. I want to give you something to live for, something to move to. All right. So let's start it up.
Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Omm 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 Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Time is on my side. I am a powerful being. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Time is on my side. I am a powerful being. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Time is on my side. am a powerful being. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Time is on my side. I am a powerful being. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah.
It's like recycling the other way, but it's not recycling, it's brand new.
Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Time is on my side. I am a powerful being. Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Om Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Om Kreem Kalikaye Namah. Time is on my side. I am a powerful being. Om Kreem Kalikaye Namah. 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 Om Kreem Kalikaye Namah.
All right, hold on. I want to just come back here for a second. Take a moment and welcome back. There are so many ways to do this, everyone. I was just being shown some crazy stuff that's beautiful, beyond beautiful. Like, I'm tight. I need to stretch. All this weird stuff. They're like, get up out of your chair, light your sage. You don't your sage, do your sage. Like they laugh about it almost. Come on, do your ritual. Okay, now are you ready? Now are you ready? And I'm like, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. And they're like, okay, stretch to the left with your leg. Come on, you stretch. I'm like, oh, this feels good. This feels good. And then I do like this sweeping movement. And then it looked like one side of me that I was sweeping to had multiple arms and then like butterfly wings. I know this sounds weird, but it was like energetic butterfly wings. So they were like purple, but like light purple. And they were like, they were really pretty, and they were moving. Everything was moving, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then in between the Omm Kreem Kalikaye Namah, the in between parts where the lady's not saying it on the song, I was saying it. So it's almost like you do, I do, you do, I do, I do, you do, you do, I do, right? So I was just playing with it. And they're like, do you see how easy this is? I'm like, oh, wait, my leg. Oh, yeah, that feels great. I'm going to stretch my back right now. It's like, it's like the central sun is in me, if that makes sense, like in my forehead, blazing. And they're like, this should be easy, Frank. Frank, it should be easy. Tell them it should be easy. At first, you might, am I saying it right? Am I doing it right? Just do it. You hear how it sounds, you hear how it goes, just do it. Now, not every meditation we do is going to be like this. This is just under the full moon, something I'm trying to teach. And there's going to be something I'm going to try to teach right now. Michael, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, if Paula walks out here, she's going to think I'm a weirdo. Because I was really getting hip movements going. But I was kind of playing with it, like sciencing myself, because now I'm seeing all this other stuff that I've never seen before. And they're like, no, what are you thinking of? And I'm like, once again, my thoughts are now over here. A detachment. People in the room were saying it's like an attachment. I guess that's a good thing because it allows for the one thing to occur at a time. And I said, all that craziness that I was feeling, all that anger, rage, frustration, crazy, but that we're out here. So there's an attachment to it. I'm still shaking and feeling weird, but now I feel really good all of a sudden. They're like, well, you're focused also. Like, so you're like singing along, you're saying the words are creating a vibration and a frequency, and the girl saying it's creating the vibration and frequency. It's on music, so it's playing in a vibration and frequency, and the sound surrounds you, and then you're saying it, so your sound is coming up out of you, creating the sound. how do you feel? I'm like, I feel really good, man. And I looked up and it was over. I was like, no, that's not the end. And then I'm like, no, that's the end. The eyes came up, and then I had to come over real quick because you kind of start having fun in it. And I forgot. I'm like, yeah, we're live right now. I'm just sitting. I push the chair here, push the chair out over here, so I could like just do a half squat and kind of. I don't want to just sit on the wooden floor. It's cold, and but then I got to stretch my leg. Oh, my hips out, and I'm doing all these weird things and having these thoughts like I don't even know where to start. I'm still not feeling the groovy. Hey, all of a sudden this feels good, and I'm visually seeing what I can do, and the energy has trails, and I start moving my arms differently, and then stretching my arms all the way to one side, all the way to the other side, reaching for the sky just to take a deep breath and see where it's at. Oh, it looks like I have wings. This is great. What if I just kind of move my arms in and then did this movement? Oh, that feels really good on my muscles. Doing that 10 times is like just pretty much what my doctor told me to do for my shoulder every day. So I'm just going to do it like I'm flying like a bird. Look what's happening. It looks like I'm emanating energy from every direction. Okay, Frank, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel great. I'm in the middle of doing this. This is amazing. They're like, what about all that other stuff? I'm like, what other stuff? Oh shit, we're in the middle of doing something, aren't we? And they were like, no, you're live, yes, but they are doing theirs, so you're doing yours. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's how lost I got, right into something great. So is the 12 minutes and 9 seconds worth it? It only takes that because of the lady in the song and how it's paced out and everything. People get all frustrated and they're like, oh, if I do it really fast, I go through 108 times. No, the 108 times is so you break the outer thoughts. The repetition keeps the singular sentence in your mind. Nothing else can penetrate, thus allowing you more access to more. That's what that's for. You're not calling in demons and monsters. You're doing something great for yourself. This thing is like multi-level great. And there's all kinds. I've talked on the show about doing the seed mantras like dome, dome, just like doing Omm, Omm, right? People do that all day. Well, their versions of it. Okay, so the picture I have up on the screen. Picture of a carpet with like all kinds of images on it, like this image. And we've all seen them before, like a Persian rug or something. And I talked to you about magic carpets and how they really work. So if we were to look at this, it has symbols, apparently some kind of flower thing in a box, and so it could be a room, I don't know, that has 4 entryways. It's got an upside down pyramid with the triangles, within the triangles, within the triangles, inside the circle. Like there's a lot happening here inside of, the flowers, and inside another circle. So is it a room of some kind? What is that? Is it just an image? Is it, oh, somebody thought that was cool, or no? So we hear from people all the time and say, I see these symbols, I don't know what they mean. And I tell you the symbols spin and reveal things. Okay, now if that started spinning in different directions, one goes one way, one goes the other goes the other way. What winds up happening is, as this, you look into the image, and these images are seen. This is why I said on the rug and the flying carpets, this is why they have those images on there. They pull out of that into 3D. So everything starts to form around you, which is why when you go to like India or if you just look at pictures and you see some of their temples are built like that. If you look up from the sky, it looks like this image. When you look down on it, is what I'm saying. And then somebody is actually inside that temple praying. Oh, so what are you saying? I'm saying that they represent these otherworldly things. But I think when I look at this, I see a conductor unit of some kind, an energy conduction unit, an area on a conductor that conducts energy of some kind. Now, I could be wrong, but when I see them spin, it generates energy. So I'm guessing this thing runs on some form of electricity. That's all I'm saying. So now I'm looking at it going, so like a little computer nodule on a capacitor or something. And then this one's like this, and it generates this color. So we're going to put that one over here, and then they generate with this color. Okay. And then you realize that not only this is as big as above, so below, it's a circuit board with all the information on it, but it's an organic circuit board with consciousness on it, allowing you access to the holographic reality that is you. You can access your Akash from your rooms, from your symbols that spin and that reveal different things around you. These are like rooms within you, but you're in a hologram. So it's stored within these images and signs and symbols, which is like light language that people keep seeing. See, if I dissected this and then put it in a beam of light, and like in Star Wars, like the intro where it says chapter 11, new Star, it's like moving back out of the screen so you can read it, and then it goes off back into the galaxy. If I could pull this apart like that, you would see what I'm talking about. You would see I'm just stretching the whole thing out. You go, holy shit, look at that. And then it snaps all back together, boom, and it's in you. Now, guys would sit on these Persian rugs, and they would talk about flying carpets. They would trip balls. They would eat mushrooms or do whatever psychedelic they're doing, and they'd sit on these with the desired symbols on it. And then they would, the carpet doesn't go anywhere, but the symbols grow up out of the carpet and form the intricate grid or the city or the rooms that you're about to enter, because you can enter them in their rooms. But looking at them from here, it's a capacitor of some kind of energy. Obviously, we're activating with Kali, and we're using the Kreem and the Omm. So these are the symbols that reside in this to access that. So we're going to access that, but then we're looking at it, and then you kind of dive into it. It kind of becomes a 3D holographic thing. If you spin it, it comes to life right in front of you. But you could go into it as well, and then wind up inside of some beautiful room. Probably the home of the energy, of the Kali energy, how it develops or how it comes out or how it's accessed through certain ways, right? So now you're sitting on your Persian carpet, the flying carpet, and the symbols come up and form the rooms around you. And it's like you're traveling into these new areas accessible, but they were very specific images that they would have on the carpet. See, we look at them today and we're like, oh, it's just a beautiful picture. But they're not telling you some of the designs are spiritual in nature. Is that a best way to put it? So, and it's funny. I watched Spider-Man last night, and I'm no spoilers or nothing. I wound up finding a copy online. Go figure. It was pretty good too. The copy was the best movie. But they had the arc reactor from Iron Man in it. And this is going to be my point. So the arc reactor kind of looks like that. I'm looking at it now going, that kind of looks like the arc reactor from Iron Man. Now, naturally, it's slightly different. But if you blow it up and look at it, you go, oh, yeah, I can see this. And I'm sure there's 100 other images for other Shiva mantras or whatever mantra that you can find where the symbols and signs look like a certain way. That would make you go, oh, shit, yeah, look, it's an arc reactor. How do we know that the guy designing it didn't even he might have based it on that and we're not even realizing it? Because he might be a guy who does like yoga and shit. And when he's trying to design the arc reactor for the movies, designs it, and the technical detailed aspects make it look like one of these things. So when we're looking at it, you're like, yeah, it's Iron Man. Yeah, you feel this connection to it and everything. And you're like, holy shit, yeah, And then whenever they show you his, like Cap has the shield, Hulk has like a green fist, I don't know. Iron Man has the symbol from his chest, which is the arc reactor. And that always changes in all the different movies. So it's almost like it's changing just like the different mantras. So you'd be looking at that and you're down with it. You're like, oh, I like this guy. But if you pull back everything, all the details and the chrome and the this plating and that plating, it really, you could sit that image in there and you wouldn't fucking know the difference. If they just came out and said, yeah, this is his arc reactor. You go, oh, yeah, that looks great. But then you're drawn to it as well because you spiritually know what it is, subconsciously know what the fuck that symbol is. You're like, oh God, this is great. But that's why you're bugging out on the character. So they kind of loop you in with stuff like that. It's like they're showing it to you right in your fucking face. And I didn't even make that connection until just now. Only because I saw it. There's like a scene where the guy has it and then the other guy takes it from him and he's like, aha. And they show it right up close. And I'm like, oh, look, it's that. So these are great things to learn. I hope I'm helping in one way or another. I hope this is, you find some kind of balance and meaning in this, and then it brings you to look at the next thing, because I'm going to move on. Tomorrow's Ganesh, as we bow out of the full moon, and we finish off the sacred trilogy, dare I call it, Shiva, Kali, and Ganesh, and then that's the father and the mother and the son together. So they asked me to do that with a Ganesh going out tomorrow, and the next rest of the days going through is whatever I want. So, well, I want this too. So that's not, I don't want to sound like that. I want this as well. And I do this stuff on the regular. I do my own versions of this. I pump this in the shower sometimes, and I just shave my head. Takes me at least 15 minutes sometimes. And I just take it slow, and I'll just say it. I'll breathe in, breathe out, do what I got to do. And I start to just feel better, even if it's from the way I was feeling earlier to the way I feel now, even if it's just this momentarily short period of time from now to, like, let's say 2 a.m. where it works. Isn't that worth it? If something works 10% in your favor, isn't that 10% better than zero? Like you got nothing. We know how it turns out. If you do nothing, nothing happens. But if you do this, it's 10% better. But over time, it's 1,000% better. Right? So it turns into one of those things. Man, I bet you like that. See, Kevin's sending me stuff, so I'm sure he found some kind of something, and he's sending it over for me to check. So when you see these signs and symbols and these beautiful tapestries with your chakras on it, the yellow chakra and your orange chakra, they all have these symbols too. That's entryway into those areas, right? So we're designed like that inside the hologram, and this freaks people out. It's like, I said it to the kid yesterday. He goes, I was at a control board. I know it. I go, because we're in a fucking hologram. I'm telling you guys. And then I don't even know why I said it like that. And then he goes, what do you mean we're in a hologram? I go, well, why else would he be standing at a control board if we weren't inside something? And he goes, yeah. I go, are you spirit or are you flesh? Well, I'm flesh for the moment, but I'm always spirit. Okay. So you're from over there and you're controlling shit, right? Yeah. I go, but we're in a matrix of sorts, right? It's like a digital component to it. He's all, oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. So we're in a hologram. Shit changes frequency. All of a sudden, the tree was there. Now the tree's not there. What is that? Why would that happen in real life? Think about this. It's like, well, I'm like, right, because we're in frequency matrix training. We're inside the fucking hologram learning how to use our powers, so when we come back out of this shit, we're humble. And we have these experiences. We learn how to use it by losing it and not having it. And then, and time is not an issue to the beings on the other side, because they all look like they're laughing, having a good old fucking time. Isn't that right, fellas? Right? So you get there, they're like, yeah, you made it, bro. What's up? I'm like, you guys always hanging out having dinner? Or just chilling, like doing your thing? Running around in fields and shit? Like, what are you doing? What do you do? And it's they're playing the game. What are you playing the game for? Guys are obviously jacked out of your mind, like built, muscular, and the feminine is really feminine here. It's beautiful. I'm like, so what are you doing? Like, we're building up. Right? I always had this thought, okay, check it out. If you were born with superpowers and no one taught you how to use them and you just started using them, and you could use telekinesis, telepathy, things that we are looking forward to, and then all the weirder stuff. So what if you just started using it? What if you just thought, this teacher sucks, kill yourself, and the teacher throws herself out the window? Now, I know that sounds unrealistic. However, on the other end of things, if you were that powerful, wouldn't that happen? Well, obviously, but I wouldn't do that. So look, we go through this school so we don't create dudes like that, right? Even though there's shit going on in here like that, it's a learning training program. Because you die in here, you just pop out and you go into another experience. What is that to you? What does that mean? Think about this really fucking deep. Are we inside of program? A giant holographic simulation training program for your heart. So you learn what it's like to lose everything over lifetimes and then gain it back. It's the program's called Earth. Right? This is the experience. Experience Earth and come out and graduate. Well, what the fuck is graduation? What are we graduating from? And where are we going? And what is this adding to our roster? Do we go someplace else? What the fuck is going on here? It seems to me like people are entering an experience and they get some kind of physical flesh avatar that when you look under a microscope, the fucking super microscope, nothing's touching. So you pixelate it. And it's just circular and spinning. But it's got really good details. But what do they always tell you? What do the masters always tell you? Nothing is real. Nothing's real. Because you're inside a fucking hologram. Let's use the verbiage we have now that they did not have then. You're in a holographic reality. Well, it makes total sense. Now that when you're like, well, I don't fear death. So once you don't get that upper hand on me, I can fucking go as I must, right? And then you're like, holy shit. You have these intense experiences, and then if you do die, I don't want to say it like this, but it's obviously like this, like a video game. You fucking put your 2 cents back into it, and you're back in. Now, did we have deception and bullshit go on that with soul-sucking machines that send you back in without your permission? Yes, we did. That would be like bullies just putting 25 cents back into the game and shoving you back in. And then playing your character. You're like, what are you doing? It was my turn. So, yeah, we did have that. But we've been here for a long time. A real long time. Like, forever. Doing all these different experiences over and over and over and over. And what the fuck does infinite mean? I asked what infinite was, and they showed me a sphere. And I said, okay. And they were like, okay, you finished that one. So you were infinite, and you finished that infinite. But now you're at this infinite. I'm like, what? And I saw this blue sphere, and I said, oh, it wasn't Earth. It was like the whole thing. It was like the whole thing that's going to happen from the very beginning to the very end for me inside that. But I'm infinite. I'm like, I could re-access that anytime you want, but you cleared it, so you're infinite. And you cleared it, though. I'm like, I thought infinite just goes on forever. He's like, okay, well, here's the one you're at. Blip, blip. Oh, that one's red. I like that color. Oh, there I am right there. And then I'm infinite into the next one. But I'm sitting in a bay. Nicholas Zervos could tell you about being in space with me and looking out the window and going, are we in space? And I'm like, I guess so. Just like that. Oh, gosh. I hope I don't take it too far sometimes because my mind will just start becoming, showing me the way to try to teach it, but on the craziest scale because I work on a weirder scale than most. Like I get into it. I get involved with the detail. They're like, how do you remember this? I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of my gift. It's like I see it. How do you see something and not remember it? You know, further down the line, if you ask me what shade of green a reptilian is, the further along I haven't seen one, I'll just say it's green. Right. And then when I start seeing, oh, yeah, there's the shade that's the one that I saw over there. There's the shade of that one over there. You start to grow away from that shit. All right. I'm checking out. I know. I can feel it in my heart that we got the up and we got the end. And look at that. It's 12:44. And Kevin, for some reason, they're not even letting me access my Facebook Messenger while I'm on StreamYard right now. Oh, there's Zervos right there. I love you, brother. I'll be seeing you soon. So, yeah, archetypes, angels, demons, they are inside your chakras, and you do your hard work and you clear them out. That's what you're doing. You're clearing everything out. You're going internal. I think you guys all been there. I think my psychedelic crew knows exactly what I'm talking about. We ride the computer chip lines that look like wormholes to us as we're tripping, and we're like, oh, it's a portal. Where's it going? And why does it have all these groovy signs and symbols? And then you pop out in this other destination. If you just take a motherboard chip apart, you'd be like, yo, you traveled from here to here, but inside you. It's like, damn, that's what we're doing. Yes. Because nothing is real outside of you. What? See, it just goes into these weird fucking things. We're definitely projecting our consciousness inside of some kind of technology that launches it into something that's like Wi-Fi'd universally, by the way. It's not like something we have and they don't. Like wherever that side is in that frequency where we're projecting in and doing it, everyone can do it. So there's all just different beings doing it, which is why we're all source, but there's all different beings doing it. Oh yeah, so as a baby, if I was to just get up and start, I had Hulk strength and I was just smashing things, you would have to teach me how to use my strength so I could scramble eggs without breaking the kitchen, right? So you need that training. Where would you put me to train me for that? You would take me, you'd put my body down in a chair and you'd be like, okay, relax. This isn't going to hurt. And you would send me into the matrix and go, okay, now give him his strength in there. Show him what he can fucking do. Now, look what it does if you crush someone's head, if you kick someone's butt, if you go take over the town. Okay, well, here it goes. You're treated like a god. Da, 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 da. It's the guy who controls the world. And then all of a sudden he loses his power a little bit at a time. And then you start losing and losing and losing. And then you're like, I don't know what's happening to me. It must be the density of the new planet Earth that I'm on. While you're on the inside and the outside, they're going, it's time he's going to learn. And you lose your fucking ability. But everyone's still saying you're source. You're a source, but you're only a 2-strand source. You're not a 12-strand source. That used to be a 12-strand Hulk source, but you're not that anymore. And then you start working your way back and realizing you're the magic, and you gain wisdom, experience, respect for yourself, love for one another. You learn how to treat women, you learn how to treat men, you learn how to treat animals, you learn how to grow symbiotically with your fucking environment. All of these amazing things. And then you wake up out of the tank and you're like, oh shit. And you have Hulk strength for real. And now you go out into the world and you're like, oh, let me help you with that. Imagine having telepathy and you're just telling people, you fill in their minds. We've all seen the villain, right? Telling the person, go kill yourself, or the guy collecting everyone for himself and then taking all their shit, like showing fucked up things in people's minds, or lifting them up and throwing them out a window. Good old Darth Vader force choke fashion style. What if that's option A? And we don't realize it, the force choke. Like option A is you lash out and you kill your best friend. Yeah, you choke them and they're fucking dead. How does that make you feel now? It's like, oh. So you live and you learn and you live. You gain experience through you go through the experience and you gain wisdom, and you repower up with an understanding of who you are and what you're capable of doing. Man, if I did this, bro, if I yell shut up at the baby screaming, its head explodes. It dies because I'm like, fuck you, nobody loves you. And you're just joking, but you're so powerful, you're dead. It's like, wow. What if you had I-beams that came out and could just melt a mother, and they're done? Would you just do it? Okay, now you're on the outside. You're born with this stuff ready to go. And it activates when you're 14 or something. I'm just making shit up, right? And they put you in the pod at the right time because everyone, as they go through puberty, starts to activate or something. They go, okay, so by 12, we put them in the pod and they start learning. They go through the experience. And then you come out and you're like 14 and you're done because time isn't relevant there. You're just in there for a little bit. You could be there for 10 minutes for all I fucking know. Hey, go in, plug in. Oh, that was a great experience. Unplug, you're done. What'd you do? Well, I did Earth. I did Earth. I ascended from source to nothing to full separation. Well, what I thought was full separation, and then realized I wasn't separated and made my way all the way back up to source and cleared the entire place. And now I'm done. And then you come out, you use your ability. I've asked them those weird questions. I've asked the wing makers. I call them that. Well, you're the wing maker? He's like, yep. I go, you guys are just programmers opening the program at any weirdo moment, sticking your head in and going, hey, let me tell you something. Like message from the outside without it coming through an animal or a whisper in my ear. You literally, hey guys, what's up? I'm like, oh, you could do that? It's like, well, yeah, you're in the hologram. It's all a hologram. What? The whole thing. So you wake up from the matrix inside the matrix. Hologram. So there's the evil dark matrix we're trying to get rid of, and then you wake up from that, and it's just the real hologram. But it's a hologram nonetheless. Well, what about 5D? Hologram. 12D? Hologram. 146.22D? Hologram. No such thing, but can be now. Because we create as we go. Hologram. But what about out here? Real life. Well, what do you mean real life? Well, out here's real, over there's fake. Well, wouldn't that be perspective and perception and awareness? Bingo! Bingo. I'm like, you know what? Hands up. Don't shoot. And they go, you're getting it. You'll get it. You'll see it. You'll witness it. You'll be part of it. You'll grow through it. You'll expand. You'll evolve. And it'll happen. And all this blissfully takes us with the nitrous as if we were in Fast and Furious 11. And sends us right up the road and off the cliff. But don't worry, we're good. Because the cliff is God. You're God. The nitrous is God. You know what I'm saying? The landing is God. Like it's all going to be good. But you got to do a little bit of your stuff. Clones are for another time. We'll talk about them later. Now it's time to smoke some pot. And you shouldn't be praying to anyone. I'm going to tell you right now how I feel about praying. If you're praying to a being, okay, I have many beings right here. Now, do I pray to her? Should I? Oh, mother, I love you. That's what I tell her. So I don't know. That might be a form of prayer, right? But it doesn't, oh, mother, come save me. Oh, Jesus, space Jesus, come find us. And I don't do that. I do this whole respectful other thing. You're my family or friend. You're an associate. I'm source. See, I don't know how you all see yourselves. I'm source. So I'm just kind across the board and respectful. That's it. Shouldn't technically you be praying to me? And I don't mean it like that. I meant the other things out there. Technically, well, I'm source. Well, we're all source. No, but I'm literally going to change it to a light being. See, now we're getting into these. So then, okay, we don't pray to Frank on this level, but we pray to him on this level. Or okay, wait, if he accesses the door to this level, see, prayer has a weird thing. I think St. Clair's did this to me. But I'll just call to them. I need to speak to you. I've had my entire ayahuasca trips and mushrooms trips stopped because I'd go, okay, that's it, enough. I have a question. And they'll go, yo, time out. And everything stops. And I'll go, yo, are you telling me to use discernment to not let people touch me, but here you are fucking pumping different colors into me? I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck are you? And why are you telling me one thing and doing another? Do as I say, not as I do. And they're like, oh, you need to learn discernment, bitch. And I'm like, well, then I need to learn it. Let's go. right? I thank you for teaching me the discernment, but at no time am I going to pray to you. I'll call to Shiva. I'm not going to pray to him. Want glory? I'll give you glory. We're in the fucking pits together right now, all of us. How about I become Shiva? How about you become Shiva? And let's get the fuck out of here. How about you become Space Jesus? Let's do this. You can transform. I'm not picking on you. This is just how I feel about prayer. But prayer, I think, has many meanings. Like singing could be a form of prayer. So then my answer would be opposite. And yes, it would be both. I guess pray away. I'm not judging none of you motherfuckers no more. I'm done. I'm done. I love everyone. I want you to succeed. I just want you to be you and be happy. And I'm not telling you to be happy. Some people are like, don't tell me to be happy. Well, I'll be a miserable prick then. Just be happy about it. Be a happy, miserable prick. God, this fucking weed is so good too. Makes me want to jump up, slap my mother, then milk the sun and get some coconut oil. Only Kevin will understand that one, but y'all get it eventually. All right, everyone. 2 hours I'm tapping out. You have a great night tonight. You have questions or comments? Listen, I'm doing this every night straight through the solstice into the new year. I think I'm going to try to do the new, like straight through. It's weird at night. I can't really record my music, but I can do little speeches like this. So it's all right. When I do music, I'm loud. I put headphones on. I'm like, I have to turn the mic down sometimes just because you can hear me. Oh, you can hear the words coming. Here it comes. Poor Kevin, what he has to listen to. When I said the lyrics, he's probably like, damn, this kid. All right. Have a great night. You have any questions? Excuse me. Ghost Train Haze is the name. I like my eyes are watering already. Have a great night. And tomorrow we do Ganesh. And we dance with Ganesha. So that'll be, it's completely different energy. It's like a happy, abundant energy that wants to just get up and move. Ganesha style. So have a great night, everyone. Make sure to breathe, drink some water, flush out your system. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Stay fearless, and remember, the universe rewards bravery. And I love weed. Peace.